Welcome to our second segment where we'll dive into the political crisis gripping Rivers State, where the recent local elections have sparked a fierce, some kind of controversy, as it were. The former governor of the state, Wike, has actually granted an interview where he said there won't be peace in the state until the governor obey court order. Now, the contest for power between key political figures in a dramatic turn has put the state in a case of chaos. Now, the African Action Party, APP, claimed victory in 22 out of 23 local government, while the major political parties, the PDP and APC, have outright rejected the results. The elections, marred by security lapses, took place without adequate police presence, leading to questions about the fairness of the process. Now, at the heart of these political storms is the growing rift between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and former governor of Rivers State, Wike, and the incumbent governor, Fubara. Both political heavyweights embattled or in a battle for control over the state political machinery. Wike, once the political godfather of Rivers State, seems to be at odds with his former mentee or his anointed candidate, Fubara, as their cases have escalated. Now, this past struggle raises critical questions about the future of leadership in Rivers State and the stability of its political environment. Now, today we are going to be unpacking all of this as we explore the underlying issue behind the crisis and examine how this political conflict could shape the state's future governance. And we're privileged to have experts bring their wealth of experience on the subject. We have joining us virtually from Lagos, Nigeria, Dr. Boniface Chizie. He's an economist, financial expert, and the CEO BIC Consultancy. Welcome to the program, Dr. Boniface. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Boniface, for coming. We also have joining us from where the whole issue is emanating from River State. We have Sobehi Eli Esquire. He's a legal practitioner and former spokesperson for the All Progressive Congress in River State. Good morning, Barrister Eli, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Now, let's begin with you, Barrister Eli. You are in the heart of it. The recent local government elections in River State saw APP win 22 out of 23 councils, a major upset for both PDP and APC. Now, how do you interpret this result, and what does it signal about the political landscape in River State?
Well, it's not only a matter of upset or no upset. If you know how these things are, the governor had been literally pushed out of the PDP by the immediate past governor of River State, Wike. So it's prone to saying that candidates of the All People's Party, APP, virtually members of the PDP who are in the governor's votes. So they moved to another platform to run for election because the PDP that Wike had hijacked the structures would not field candidates for reasons best known to them. But here again, these are people who are clamoring for local government elections prior to now. Then the opportunity came with Supreme Court judgment, and every state is falling in line, and then suddenly they are backing off. For this group, it's all about control of structures, whatever that means. So that's why it happened. As for the APC, you recall that APC was not even fully into the mix until again, the judgment of the High Court came that throughout the Kenya committee appointed by the NWC. Again, so that bit of the membership of the APC that is pro-UK is what I find in the ousted Kenya committee led by Tony Kocha. The other one, too, that is the mainstream APC led by Mika Beke. You cannot say fully persuaded because, as I speak, those of us who ran elections on the party platform 2015 that were lawfully removed by Wike to a federal high court judge are still in courts 8 years after. This is the 9th year. So opinion was divided right down the middle as to why the party should participate in these elections, since their candidates, the chairman, are still in court against the present government. Recall that two elections held in 2018 and another in 2021, that Governor Wike and the APC did not participate. So to that extent, there's a group in the APC that insisted they did not participate until that matter is finally done with. So we can't only say that the APP came and then taken out the PDP and the APC completely out of River State. But being as it may, the party that the governor is member of or likely to favor has the greater chance of winning the election conducted by the state electoral commissions. That's what we see across the country, so that's strange.
Okay, let's quickly get to Dr. Boniface and get insight from him. The sitting governor is a member of the PDP, and he has actually openly ascertained the fact that he's not leaving PDP anytime soon. He's still a member of the PDP when he was visited by the BOT recently, BOT of the PDP. He said he's not leaving the party. But what seems to be a turn of event is what we saw when the election was conducted, and another party that seems not to be too popular, as it were, got 22 out of the 23 local government. Is that not a concern for the PDP, as it has to do with the membership of the governor remaining in the PDP? Dr. Boniface.
Well, I think that nobody needs to tell the PDP that it needs to get its house in order. I think that there are too many powerful interests, pulling the party, apart, and that's not good for the party. In Nigeria, we need a powerful opposition. So, what's happening in Nigeria is not acceptable. So you have a party that's in governance, and the state institutions are being hijacked, and we need to have counter forces, that will try, to make sure that they will make the other party begin to look over his shoulders. But that doesn't seem to be. That's not be the case now. So PDP is in disarray and so on. So the governor says he's not going to leave PDP, but then he stays there, and it's already been forced out. So nationally, yes, he's still with in PDP, just as Wike is still in PDP. But to all intents and purposes, no matter what has happened before, we know what happened. What Wike claimed made him to begin to have all these problems because the presidency was supposed to be zoned to the south. And then Atiku Abubakar was still, a dominant figure in the PDP, was still insistent, that he wants to run for presidency. So I think that was the genesis of the problem, if you must put it in context. But Wike is still in the PDP, Fubara is still in the PDP, but I guess that's just for a time. Wike is in the PDP and he's serving as a minister under this government. And he has a divided loyalty, to say the least. I know, for instance, that come 2027, that Wike is going to pitch his tent. He's going to support Ashwaju. You can see, it's writ large, the handwriting on the wall. That's exactly what is going to happen. But I feel a bit uncomfortable with the role Wike is playing. I think that he's been governor of the state for 8 years, and it's not right for him to be dominating the state the way it's happening now. And that's cause of the problem. I think that Fubara should be given an opportunity, to be the governor. So I think that so that's the challenge.
Okay.
There's a crisis in the state. Fubara swears in council chairman and so on and so forth, and they're fighting him. So if he's the chief security officer of the state, that shouldn't be happening. So issue of state police and so on, again, comes to the fore. So all these things we have to look at again. But Nigeria is not moving in the right direction, we must say it.
Okay, let's get to Barrister Eli. Barrister Eli, you are a legal practitioner. The former governor of the state and minister of FCT saying that until the Governor Sindara Fubara, obey court judgment or the court order, as it were, there won't be peace in the state. We've seen how some council secretariats were raced down by thugs and hoodlums, and the governor has swiftly constituted a panel of inquiry. He has given them 1 month to return back and give response. But the former governor and minister of FCT is saying no, he's going to kick against the panel of inquiry that was constituted by this administration. What says you Remember, the state governor also head to the River State Court, where he also obtained another judgment. There seems to be judgment, counter-judgment, court restriction and injunctions. You are a lawyer. Help us out now.
Well, I will speak to the issue and restrain myself from passing the judgment on the judiciary per se. But let's look at it from the common sense point of view. If a man believes in the rule of law, it does not come only by way of what they say. You go practice it. It's practical, people say it. For instance, if you say you're in court challenging the process, why don't allow the courts finish what they have to do and then let the court bailiffs execute the orders of court? Why resort to self-help? Those who say they're in court to challenge the court of local elections, elections have held. You return to court and tell the courts, while we're here, this has happened, and let the courts decide what they can do. It's not for you to get into a frenzy and then run amok and destroy government property. Because arson is a crime punishable under our laws. And now, if the governor says that as the chief secretary of the state, chief executive of the state, whose mandate is to protect and defend the state as provided by the Constitution, sets up the commission inquiry law. What is the sense in want to challenge it if you have not to hide? Law, then that's the law of operation. The government already knows who did it. Those who did it were caught on camera. They are all over social media. But the Constitution says there must be due process. Even when a judge is found on the scene of the crime, he has personal knowledge of the crime, he will not pretend because matter comes for him and I know the facts. He will allow the prosecution to prove the case. So the burden of proof is always on the prosecution in criminal trials. So the government haven't set up commission inquiry. It's the way to go. Let the commission unravel the circumstances behind the attack on the councils. And so asking that you want to go to court to stop it, there's something to hide. It goes without saying. And secondly, I also want to use the point to disagree with respectfully with Dr. Chize on this presumption. Of course, a lot of Nigerians will have view that okay, probably is fighting the PDP because the other part was not the South article came into the fray. I said you had obstruct that. That's so correct. I'm not in the PDP, but we're following events closely. If, for instance, at the end of that convention in the PDP in Abuja last 2022, Tiku had offered this one weekend that vice president ticket and not former Governor Kowa, Willow Kowa of Delta State. I'm not sure all of what I've seen would have happened. We know these facts here. The same man who was opposed to Rotary Mechi, his predecessor sending power to the Reverend to have a power restriction principle enforced in the River State in 2015 by supporting Dr. Takubu's side of the APC. The same man who insisted he must govern after the 8 years, after he took his son and a man like Amici in the plural ethnic in the River State, went back to Simokobo and brought Fubara. Right? So he, in principle, they agreed that power should shift, but it has to be storm first. Okay. So now you're taking that, and even if Fubara, you don't allow him rest. These are the issues that Nigeria should interrogate. People should be consistent. And talk about court orders, obedience to court orders. Do you know how many court orders are passed without obedience by the newly passed governor? For instance, in 2015, Justice Agbado Fishing passed another and restrained the governor from tampering with their council in 2015. He disobeyed and tampered with us.
Okay.
And even up to now, as FP minister, I think another gentleman has come out to do the Abuja municipal, or whatever. Again, this is training order against it. Again, they removed them and put some other people there. Can go on and on. Some permanent secretaries of the university, when they took back to governor, they wrote what the court ordered for their statement, they did not obey. Some lecturers at the Kensal Polytechnic were also removed by, again, they went to court, got another court, restrained the governor, he did not obey. So it's not about obedience to court orders. So we'll have a litany of example to show that he does not lie in his mouth to question what anybody does to court orders. But he is the chief executor of disobedience to court orders.
Okay, Dr. Boniface, if you heard what Barrister Eli just said, he's not on the same page with you. Would you want to react to that before we move on, or we should go on?
I'm not a politician, so maybe he's closer to, to action. So I'm not a politician. I just say what
Okay.
occurred to me. So maybe he has more correct. I don't want to go into that yet.
All right, now, both PDP and APC have rejected the election results, citing various irregularities. Do you think their claims could be proven beyond reasonable doubt if they actually go ahead to seek legal redress?
Well, if I'm correct, I think that Atiku congratulated Fubara. I don't know if I just go by what I read in the out there, in the press. So if it's done so, and then if PDP and APC protesting, well, that should be expected. So I think that's what Fubara has done. He's quite smart. Obviously, he knows his fortunes are not with PDP anymore, and then he knows, in fact, when Nike talks about structures, that those are the structures he's referring to. And like I said, after the elections, he did say that the council election, he did say that Wike should come to terms. That the structure has moved on. And then, of course, you are going to court and so on and so forth. One of the problems I have is sometimes I say to myself, nobody even asks about local standing. So Wiki, what this is doing, logically, where is it all coming from? So we are, as a nation, as a system, we are trying to legitimize, what shouldn't be correct. So Wiki has been a governor in the state for 8 years, and he has moved on. So what's all this force is going on over the place? People should try and checkmate him. But they've allowed him to amass so much powers because, like I said, he paid for people to contest elections and so on and so forth. Where did he get the money from? It's not a patrimony that he's sharing. Does he have any investment anywhere? Where did he get the money? So this is exactly what is happening. And of course, who's going to challenge him? Those who live in glass houses don't throw stone. That's the president. Was exactly the president is doing with Lagos State. So based on the same failure, they flock together. That's exactly what is happening. So I think that we have to you look at what's happening in PDP. They come and hand over the thing to Wike. We shouldn't be in charge of the state. I'm not a politician. That's why I consider to my friend there. Maybe it's more of I'm just somebody, a keen observer.
Okay.
You concede the state structures, to Wike, who is no longer there. So there's crisis. And why are they doing that? Because they know that Wike is very strong. And why is he strong? Because he's captured, he's put people in place who are beholden to him. And the only way to begin to make sure that you remove the powers from Wike, I think that they should get together and support Fubara, to make sure that this election that is conducted, it should stand.
Okay.
We can have elections everywhere. And nobody will not have any problems. And then we know what has happened in the states. So we're looking at all these states, electoral commissions, and seeing to what extent they are in the pockets of the governors. So you go to any state where it's APC, all the local government elections, you go to even my brother and friend in Anambra State, Professor Soludo, you go there again, you find that APGA also won all the states. So it's something everywhere. And so there's some things we need to look at again. Okay. But that's the reality we have with us today. And we'll have to find a way to come to terms with it.
Okay, Barrister Eli, talking about coming to terms with it, just recently, Akwa Ibom too had their local government election where the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, cried out and said elections at the state level shouldn't be a winner takes all. He complained about the sitting governor determining, or the party of the sitting governor taking everything. His local government was the only one that was paid for APC. Everything went to Governor Emo of the PDP. Now, with the rise of APP in Rivers State, do you think this marks a significant shift in voter sentiment, or this result is more of a reflection of internal discord within the PDP and the APC?
Well, it goes without saying that even though some people might think this is a referendum in Rivers State, the reality is that I speak from transparent of experience as well. Before 2010, hello, Daniel.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
I worked as an electoral officer at the University Independent Election Commission from 2004 March to November 2010 when I resigned to contest for the Digma consensus seat in the House Assembly. So we are the set that did the first elections by state electoral commissions under the 1999 Constitution. Remember that the first for this Fourth Republic was conducted on the 5th of December 1998, upon which basis the three political parties of PDP, APP at the time, and then AD were registered as political parties. All others were political associations right at that time. So the first council elections under this constitution were conducted in Rivers in 2004. Some states was in 2002, but had the law maintaining number of cadre committees. Now, the trend has always been this. And Akpabi cannot therefore speak on that platform. He don't come to equity or clean hands. We need to interrogate his 8 years of Akpa as governor. He ran on the platform of the PDP as governor of Akpa State. Did he concede one seat in the opposition party as council chairman? Yeah, we have seen after a lot of hue and cry from Nigerians, what the governors do is to see them a seat or two at the level of the councillorship or at the level of the local government council chairmanship. More often than not, the governor takes it all. So in Akwa what we saw, I've read some stories where some people are saying that even the APC that they gave to the LGA, where the Senate president comes from, was a political, tactical maneuver, etc., to save his face. Otherwise, it was a clean sweep. So these are the issues. Now, some people are saying that why didn't they allow INEC conduct all? The question I ask is, how perfect is INEC election? Don't have any more disaster at national level when INEC conducts elections. So why are you going to add more burden to them when elections are this level? Again, we're talking about a federating republic, a federation per se. Why would the federal government have absolute control up to conducting the grassroots elections? Now, I would simply say for electoral reforms to work in this at this level or at the national level or sub-national levels, please resort to what all of us now do, simple technology. Let's say by text messaging. You don't need data to send a text message. So let's say we create the number 33020, 33020. I say all voters in so constituency send yes or no to so 33020. You will see from the data from text messages that come that these are the votes are going. You don't need the collection officer, you don't need IRM, you don't need any back server, you don't need anybody like that to manipulate. It's a text message. Others I can vote by email, can do by email. Before you know, you have a credible election in Nigeria. Anything outside of that is a charade. Once you bring the human elements in, if you like, bring a pope.
Okay.
Dr. Chizia here will bear me witness. In 1993, June 12, we had an election where an option A4 approach was adopted by the military. And even when Nigeria showed enormous enthusiasm and you count people who stand behind most of the candidate, while Abiola was leading, the same military struck. So once the human element comes in Nigeria, you can't be sure of that kind of election. Remember, election is a process. So all of these grandstanding about when it comes to the states, the governor's party takes all, they are bound to happen because at the national level, if you allow, do you know why it's tough to beat an incumbent president? Good luck Ebele Jonathan was the incumbent president that I can remember in Africa years that lost an election while on seat. Most Africans will survive the process. You've seen African presidents go for office for 5 terms, 6 terms, like case would be. Even the one that just died now in Cameroon, Paul Biya. You know how many years was in power? So the constitution allows maximum room for chief executives to manipulate, because they're the ones that appoint the authorities that supervise elections.
Okay.
So for instance, I appoint an INEC chairman, INEC chairman will dance my tune. If I appoint the state electoral commission chairman, well, that's my tune, that's what's going on. So allow voting to be done with less human intervention. By simply saying, if the technology, let's use other SMS or emails to vote, and you see the results will be different.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Chizia now. Dr. Chizia, yes, Wike is a dominant force as far as the politics in Rivers State is concerned. Now, while some stakeholders in the state are saying he should face his responsibility as the Minister of FCT, others are saying, yes, he actually made way for the incumbent governor to get to power. According to the minister, he alleged he bought forms for everyone, from the governor to the list that contested in that election. Do you think the minister should actually let loose or let Rivers State be and face his primary responsibilities as FCT minister?
Of course, what you're saying is obvious. I mean, he can't be occupying 2 seats at the same time. It's not logical. I mean, he's been 8 years as governor. He should just move on simply. But what's happening is that we are not sincere. If we're sincere, I listen to my brother, from Rivers State. I listen to him. There are many things we could do. We can even appoint people. Yes, you can never do without human intervention. You can reduce it. Even the system we have to do on ground. If we are sincere, if we have people who have some integrity to defend, who have some reputation to defend, it will work and work perfectly well. But when people are there, have been nominated and put there purposely, for that, what they are doing. So what do you expect? I've said this several days before. If we open up this thing and we want to do it properly, if we want to appoint the chairman of INEC, it should be advertised. So we advertise it and ask people to, to apply. And then you constitute a committee of eminent citizens, retired judges, chief judges of the election, and so on and so forth. They vet these things and they conduct an interview. And then you appoint somebody who would have a name to defend. And you make sure that even the final appointment is not, all the president has to do is just to convey the message that you've been appointed. And so you take the thing to Council of States, where past presidents will be there, sitting presidents and so on, and the state governors will be there. And they'll take a short list, look at the short list, and forward them to National Assembly.
Okay.
If we do that, if we did that, they would have somebody who would not come and be holding. But when the president is there, he's been appointed by the president, and he's holding with the president. Maybe he knows the terms and conditions of his appointment. Then what do you expect? What you get is what you are experiencing now.
Okay, let's quickly get to, thank you very much, Dr. Boniface. We'll return back to you in a moment. Let's get to Barrister Eli. Barrister Eli, you reside in the state. Who is to be blamed with the current political tension? From what we are seeing from the outside world, it's battle for supremacy or the issue of structure, as the former governor, who is the minister of FCT, has always said, the structure of the state has been hijacked. When two elephant fight, the grass is so fight, as we've seen many local councils have been set ablaze. Should similarly Fubara, the incumbent governor, bow to pressure and face governance, then allow the former governor, minister of FCT, takes over the structure? Would that bring peace in the state?
That's not possible. This is a constitutional democracy, our nation of laws. For God's sake, we have said this for the uptime time, I will say it over and again. Keep your lane. It's even an abomination that anybody allowed in this country to say it openly that I bought $1 million forms for everybody. That research and anathema. That research punishable by law. Because you offer yourself for elections, there are guidelines set up by INEC. Pursuant to the Constitution, that should guide conduct. Like I'm telling people that I read this election, that's what they have said. And it should be punished. So, well, we're done with the legislative recruitment process. What you have dealing with that is deal with the fallout of that process. Can we say in all honesty that we are comfortable with having interferences for people who should stay away? A government have been formed, it doesn't matter how they came in. Everybody should keep his lane. The constitution should be the guiding compass. Once the constitution is kept and dealt with, everything will fall in place. But I must not forget to add this, like Dr. Caesar said, if you appoint people of credibility, they could turn this around. I kind of disagree with respect, sir, because we had Professor Humphrey Osu to pretend over the judicial of elections in 1993. He came close to getting it right, but the system was fair, was very, very open of the name for. Nobody brought the voters register. People simply stand up and queue and get the results. And since that election was knocked down by the military, the man beat the retreat. Who else can do that? Now, our process, our voter register is filled with fraud. If you look at the register of voters in this country, it is heavily politicized. You find people who register non-resident persons, some even dead on the register are not deleted. So at every point in time, you're not sure of our voting strength. It's all political. So the leftover, that's why when you hear about leave voters and I laugh, I've been an electoral officer, I know how these things work. When they say low voters, people are looking at the total number of registered voters in that unit. Vis-a-vis the number of voters are turned up. The fact here is that most of the people on the voters register are not real. Some who are real have died. So we need to have a pure cleanup by getting away from that system that allows for manipulation. Let the voters come out, stand behind the queue, and you count them there, and that's it. Or allow people to vote by text messages or email, and you move closer to eliminating all of this fraud that we see. That I must emphasize. But back to the River State, where people are satisfied with allowing government run at the pace it's going. Do not forget that even though a lot of us people are not comfortable with Wike taking over from Amechi, because both of them are Korean people, we know our composition here, we have different ethnic groups, and they have this geopolitical divide of upland and riverine. They allowed Wike stay because, as far as I'm concerned, Amechi has done his bit. So no matter what Amechi did, extremely well, people are inclined to believe that your time is up, leave the scene. All right? Add that the fact that Wike pretended he was working for Jonathan, he won the people's support. The same sentiments are afoot now in River State. Wike, you have done your time, and time has called with your term. Stay away, stay in Abuja, same for brother he brought is here. And that's what's going on. That's why even in the PDP that he leads, the party was divided between those who said, Oga, you're the one that brought this man, I must go with him. So a democracy does not allow for dictatorship. This is not a feudal state. It's a constitutional democracy. So people are inclined to stand with the constitution. It's not matter who the people do. It's not for a personal enterprise. It's not the personal estate. It's not a private company. It's the states who are talking about here. So whoever has brought whoever is in material to us now, but move to a point where the man in charge is in charge, as we're allowed to be in charge.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Eli. We'll be wrapping up now, but quickly help us, Dr. Chizia. This is going to be your final submission. Governor Similai Fubara, do you think he's going to face a serious political challenge owing to the fact that PDP experienced a significant loss in the polls? And how do you think this election defeat affect his leadership within the state PDP?
Well, I think that what Fubara has done is probably the best move. Otherwise he's going to be frustrated. Obviously the crisis on hand, that's the best cause for him to try and fight it. We all know that the party that just won is just a proxy party of Fubara. That's exactly what it is. And so he's beginning to build his own structures, and that's the way to go. Wike has taken, PDP is a party in crisis, shouting out loud. So if he stayed there, he would be impeached, and he would be there and passing, issuing statements and doing things, and he's being challenged. Even in the State House of Assembly, it's not together, he's not in control. So what is done now, the only option left to him, that's the best course. But of course, we are not naive to say that it's Uhuru. It's not Uhuru, so the fight is still ahead. But if he didn't do this, this is like giving him a lifeline, and he must start to insist. So he sets up a committee to investigate what has happened. He should be allowed. He's the governor today. So I think that's the best way. But River State and the elders in River State will have to find a way to sue for peace. And this is very important. Otherwise, there will be a crisis. There will be a state of emergency and so on, and then things might go out of control and so on. So I think that this thing has to be properly managed.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now, lastly, Barrister Eli, looking ahead, what do you think the long-term implications of this political crisis will be for River State governance and development? How is it going to affect governance? Because in most cases, we've heard Governor Sim said he wants to focus on governance. This issue is distracting him. Please, in 30 seconds, if you can sum it up for us.
I agree with him. A lot of River people agree with him. I want to see the House of Assembly behave the way they do, where 27 members walk away because the man bought funds from them. Their loyalty is not to the state. The loyalty is to one man, and the state is comfortable with signing with the governor. And that's why when they saw the heat and the face Section 109, they beat the quick retreat and denied that they defected, right? So the state will always stand with governor, that's his saddle. I came missing material now, but move past that. So River State will stand with him and market anywhere. In the contest that will ensue, in any fight that lies ahead, he will win. The people will vote him because this is his time. He will do this 8 years. Don't forget, power has been in the upland from 1999 until now. So for over 20 years, power was resident in one corner of the state. People are inclined to make sure it moves. Now, Mobile, he comes from a southeast central district. This is the first time, so he will get the second term if he stays focused on governance. He will do that and get to win. Doesn't matter who stays what's from Abuja. Rivers State has moved to similar from, but that's what they have.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Sogbei Eli Esquire, former spokesperson APC. Sogbei Eli. Thank you very much. Say it again.
Why? You know why I?
Okay. All right. We take note, and we sincerely apologize for mixing it up. Thank you for coming anyway, and Dr. Boniface Chezia for being on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. God bless.